Hello again, Namaste. Welcome. We're going to do a little tutorial today on how you can form a better, closer communication with your spirit guides and with your loved ones on the other side. Now I wanted to start off by saying that you may be unaware that you're actually already in daily communication, almost minute by minute communication with people from the other side. They communicate to you in a host of different ways, and we're just not being trained in any way to recognise something as being a message or a sign or an affirmation from the spirit world. So I'm sort of going to touch on a few things, but there are many more. You just have to look to your own life and maybe start paying attention to what may possibly be signs that you're getting. So sometimes you just have a very clear knowing about a situation, and you should really trust that. It's your logical mind can really get in the way of decision making, and we can see a lot of logical reasons why something might be good for us, but if you have that feeling, that sort of resistance to it, and you have no logical reason for it, then I would trust that much more than any big pros and cons list your mind can come up with. That feeling that something's off is one of the biggest signs that you're in tune with your guides. And you should really listen to that and maybe take a wee bit longer before you make a decision and try and find out why you're feeling that niggling feeling that something's off. Trust that it's your strongest guide communication. Now you might hear you've got a problem going on in your life. You're like Bruce Almighty in that movie, and you're saying, give me a sign, and actually the signs are almost literally like that in the movie. They're really clear. With hindsight, you go, oh gosh, I should have known, that person saying that to me at the bus stop or something. You'll hear conversations as you're passing by people which seem to have an answer to what's going on in your life or are relevant. You'll turn on the radio, or you'll put your iPod on shuffle, and a song will come up which seems to really shine an insight onto what's going on, and it is not a coincidence. The spirit world are amazing. They are sending, for every sign you see, it's like the tip of the iceberg for the signs that they're actually sending out to you. They're blowing their socks off up there, throwing signs at you from every direction, trying to help you in as passive a way as they're allowed to do. And we're really very blinkered. We're not, some of the tribes folk or people in the rainforest, or Native American Indians and people like that, they are taught in their culture to look for signs, in the skies or insects or animals. They're all have a lot of meaning to them, and their whole culture is brought up with that, and they encounter a lot less problems, and they're much closer to their ancestors and their loved ones and their guides than we are here in the West. We are not taught to examine the little bird that's just landed so close to you inexplicably. It means something. All these things mean something, and they mean something different to each person. It might be that when you were, I don't know, at somebody's funeral, you saw a little robin, or when you had a wonderful day at a beach somewhere, you saw a wagtail, or a magpie came at some crucial point in your life, and you associate it in your mind with a person or a situation, good luck or bad luck or whatever. And so when these things come, a sign may mean something different to me than it will to you. So you can't have a blanket thing. You have to actually almost invent your own signs. That's what a lot of starting out psychics and people do, they develop a code and they say to the universe, a red rose means romantic love, you know. I don't know what the roses and flowers, the Victorians knew what they were doing with all that. They had meanings for all of them. So you have to devise, if you wish, some meanings for if you see a magpie or a robin, or, you know, some sort of thing comes across your path, a certain crystal or whatever. And if you think of that animal, bird, item, then there is a meaning attached to it. It's not just a flickering chance thought. So you can do that. You can actually sit down and take 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 different everyday things and assign them a meaning and work with your guides to develop a communication with them, even though you're not, you know, having all the fireworks of a guide showing up in front of you. You can be doing that, you know. You can be developing a form of communication. I think John Edward does that. He's got a vast array of things, and whenever he says, oh, they're showing me yellow this, it means they're sending you love, or this thing means somebody's ill. You know, he can just through symbols, it makes it it's like a shorthand, a spiritual shorthand, so he can quickly, rapidly get to the root of the message spirit are trying to pass across. It's quite hard for the spirit world to communicate with us, you know, in a more clear-cut way, because the difference in our vibration is such that, you know, they had to really densify themselves and pull down their energies to get anywhere close to shouting at you. And so if you can help them by raising up your energies as much as possible, then that will make it easier to have clear communication. They can only come down so far. They're not in human form, and they working so hard, it's unbelievable, to get across the messages that you are receiving clearly. So you might overhear a conversation, a song on the radio, you might even open a newspaper or a book and there's just a line jumps out at you that just strikes a chord with you. Pay attention to it, it's not an accident. And then you have things like I say, the birds, the feathers, an animal of some form coming across. It may mean something personal to you or remind you of a person, or a time in your life that was good or bad. And if you see it, if you notice yourself noticing something, you know, think about it and just see it. If you ask yourself, that's unusual, you don't really see those birds about this time of year, or, you know, imagine seeing that funny pebble or whatever it was, and just sort of ponder it a minute, and you might find the answer just kind of pops up to you, what its meaning is to you, and it will help you. And think these things can come right out of the blue, you know, your feathers and things like that inside the house. That's a common one. People see feathers inside the house. Also smells. Smells are very common, where you might smell someone's perfume or a certain scent they love, like lavender, or a smell you associate with them. I was once in a very old house. I was renting it, and it was almost like a physical puff of smoke. It was clearly smelled. No one in the house smoked, and there was this big waft. It was like somebody had just blew smoke right by my side. And that house was hugely haunted. It was a very old house, and it had a lot of funny spirits in it, and I didn't stay there too long. But, you know, that's as strong as you can get, communication like that. So don't rule out, well, that reminds me of, you know, a certain individual. That's usually like family members and things. With those, I could smell my dad's tobacco smoke and things like that. Why would you smell that? You know, if no one in the house is using that tobacco, then it's them. It's them doing their very best to let you know that they're near, and giving you some comfort like that. So sometimes you also start humming songs in your head. That happens to me a lot. You just find yourself you're the message. You hear yourself humming away some wee song or singing lyrics from a chorus or something pops into your head, and you think, why am I singing that? I've not heard that in years, you know. And if something like that happens, I frequently go and Google the lyrics of that song and see if I can get some meaning from that. Or I might instantly associate it with someone. And then you know that person is sending you, basically a lot of the time the message is just, I'm here, I'm nearby. So I'm getting really beautiful energy again doing that. It's very difficult doing these recordings because your spiritual team are near, your family members are near, and they just take the opportunity to shower down as much love as they can squeeze into these wee windows when you've cleared a space, you know, in your day. And they just show up, so they're about again, which is really nice. Yes, so you have to prepare again if you're wanting to do this, though. If you know that this is all going on all the time, and you can look for it and try and focus more on it, and you will see it. You will see some of it. You won't see it all. But if you want to clear a window and focus and try and have this more direct form of communication with your guides or a family member, you've got some important issue you're struggling with, again, you have to set the intention. You have to clear clutter, human clutter, you know. It just has all its different vibrations, especially gadgets and devices and TVs and radios and phones. Get rid of them, get them all switched off, or, you know, go from them, go into nature, get away from as much of that as you possibly can. Get yourself nice and calm, so you're not, you know, you've got enough time to do it, and you're not worried about anything else like that. Now, I'm going to do a wee live demonstration. I frequently, obviously you can light a candle, frequently a white candle's a nice, it just sends a symbolic, like there's a purity to it. I'm going to show you some smudging. This is white sage, which I use. I get a big bag of it off the internet, and I use it all the time before I do any kind of spiritual work. I haven't done it today. I thought I'll wait and do it live on air. Probably set the alarm off. So you set fire to it, and then you blow it out, and it makes a hell of a lot of smoke, and that smoke goes into your aura. I'll get my feather. You don't need a feather to do it, but I do it with a feather. Just I'm not trained in this, so I'm probably doing it very wrong. You let the smoke go all about, and I just have the intention in my mind that this smoke is cleaning up my auric field, removing any negativity from myself and the room, because we pick up grubby energies in our day-to-day life. I love to smell it. I think it can do you no harm because it's got a beautiful scent. This is white sage. Other people use Palo Santo, which is a holy wood. You might use even lavender or any of these kind of herbs that you like. I think some people burn tobacco. Really just have a look, smudging, and see what you come up with. And even if you're drawn to use something, you know, that you have yourself, then do that. So that's really all I do with that. You have to watch because little burning embers can fall down and set you on fire. So you've got to be safe. I have this beautiful little Pao shell. It's lovely. I put some salt in it because if you don't put salt inside it, when you put your burning things into it to keep them from burning your house down, they really burn and mark the beautiful shell, and it's the most beautiful iridescent colours inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rest that in there and put it next to me, and it's going to be burning away probably throughout most of the video, but it won't trouble us. It's no damage there. What you're supposed to do is walk around your room or even the house. I don't know if you're meant to start from the bottom up or the top down. Just do whatever you're intuitive. Probably the bottom up because smoke floats up. Then you're meant to open a window and it lets all the negativity in the house out. Some people also sprinkle a little bit of sea salt in the corners of the rooms, just again to deter negative energies of any form coming and staying. So we'll be doing more protection things in another thing. But if you're about to go journeying in the other worlds or calling in spiritual people from the spirit side, Then a little bit of smudging, light a candle, burn some incense if you don't have smudge, just see if you can get a white sage incense or even a lavender incense, lavender essential oil. I think anything like that, you can trust your intuition with all these different things and go with what you feel is correct for you. But anyone can light a candle, have an intention, and as I say, a little bit of incense is nice. It helps as well. Again, you're setting the scene for the spirit world. You're setting up your shop. You're saying, I'm doing something special. It all helps for that. You can do the protection bubble. Again, just flame on. So I'm surrounded by a bubble of protection. Using the words I am are very powerful. I am protected. And it carries an energy, those words I am, which is very, very powerful. And you should use it in all positive things. I am healthy, I am wealthy. That would be nice. Using the I am is another good thing. So I am protected, I'm fully protected. And then I ask my guides to come close to me. Guides, loved ones, spirit helpers. And I always say, only those who come for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. So it qualifies them, because you're not just opening up to encounters with anybody, so that we have the bubble, love and light may enter, everything else return to sender. We have the intention where you're asking your guides to step close to you, so that's you asking them to lower their vibration down to you, and you're trying to raise yours up with the smudging and the candles and the breathing. You can do a bit of breathing to get you into the zone as well. You should be nice and calm. There's absolutely nothing, you're not going to see anything at all that's going to alarm you, because of your protective guide. I think they call him the gatekeeper guide. He's going to be just overseeing the whole thing. So you don't have anything to worry about. It's just a fun thing to do. It's a positive thing. It's nothing to worry about. So only those who come for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned may enter the bubble, may step close to me now. And that's you qualifying the spirits you're asking to come and work with you. I would do a little deep breathing to just, again, that's going to puff out your aura, making it easier for them to reach you in. It's going to raise you up. It's going to fortify your energetic system with all the spiritual energy you're breathing in. It's going to calm your body because of the hormones getting released with the deep breathing that say, in caveman times, if you were able to sit and breathe like this and there was nothing threatening you, and it's only when you're doing the short, shallow breathing, your body reads that as we're in danger. It's a kind of stressed situation. And I think a lot of people breathe like that most of the time. So we all need to develop the better breathing. Whenever it comes into your mind, breathe a bit more. So we've done our smudging, we've lit our candle, we've put the bubble up, doing our breathing. Now at this point, you can go in as deep as you like, but you can start off with something like, I want you to initially pay attention to how you're feeling. Like I'm telling you, I can feel something. It's like a tingling, it's like a warmth, it's a feeling of love. So you should look for feeling. A lot of people tell me that they feel like a hand on their shoulder, not in a freak you out way, just a kind of warmth or pressure. So you might feel a hand on your shoulder, or a heat down one side, or the tingling, or some sort of other sensation that is unusual to you, or that makes you just have a knowing that someone is near. I frequently feel someone's close to me, behind me, when I'm doing journeyings and things. I think I know somebody's there. I can't see them. They're very, very careful about how they reveal themselves to you. They do not want to scare you. It's all about you and making you feel safe and loved and happy as you go about this. So initially you can see how you feel. Do you feel any physical sensation? Do you feel any tinglings or warmth, or even just a knowing that you don't feel you're fully alone? You feel somebody is there. So pay attention to all of that, smells and whatnot. And then you can use tools initially if you like. You can use as simple as a pen and paper. You can just sit down with a jotter or something, and you can write questions down. What should I do about this or that, the next thing? Or, can I trust this person? Or, would I need to know for today? And you might find that, initially it feels really chewy and you think you're writing absolute rubbish. But if you persist, if you give it 10, 15 minutes, then you could be starting to write down something that feels like deep truths to you. It just feels really much more relevant, and maybe you're seeing things clearer or from a different angle. And so that's one of the simplest, easiest, most accessible things that anyone can do. They can simply sit with pen and paper in this environment, invite their guides to come and help them, and start writing things down as they pop into their head. And then, you might find that you get clarification through doing that. Other things are some of these divination tools like oracle cards, tarot cards. I love runes. But, anything like that, if you wanted to just, if it's like a halfway house between the more direct form of spirit communication and actually, is the spirit world. There's no way you can pull out stones from a bag, and they make so much sense. They all overlap each other in enhancing the meaning of a certain point. Or tarot cards, which are not only clearly perfect for somebody's life, the situation they're in, they complement one another, they lead on from one another, they're in the correct order. There's no way that can happen by accident. It's just the odds, just don't stack up. So these tarot cards and oracle cards and rune stones and things of that ilk do work. There's a reason they've been around for all these years. They do work, and if you want to invest in a very inexpensive pack, the tarot cards I use, probably one of the cheapest in the market, it's just like a beginner's guide to tarot, but the symbology on them is very, very simple, very clear, and when I'm working with people, they can easily see what the message is in that card. So it's not all dressed up in Egyptology or something, shamanism or something. I have got other sets that I play about with myself, and I love them all, and it's just that's a nice thing. If you want to cultivate some of that, that's fine, you can do that. So that will help you get used to maybe trusting advice a little bit. But then if you feel you're ready and you want to go chat with guides, now I'll say to you very clearly, this video isn't about summoning up guides or loved ones and you see them with your naked eye. That's beyond me. I can't teach you that. That's something that you will do when you're ready across a span of time. I don't do that. I'm not at the point where I see people. I hear people very, very well. I'm clairaudient. I hear them all the time. I hear people when I'm cooking dinner or walking to the shops. In your everyday world, I will hear things just pop into my head. Frequently it is songs, and then I say, oh, it's so and so, because I can recognise the song they're singing. I can link it to them. I've also had what you call famous spiritual people, which I won't name here, but not pop stars or anything, but holy beings, people that you say, there's no way you're here with me. Why on earth would someone as high up as you walk and talk with me? And frequently the message that comes back from them is that I'm as important as every other person. Why would they not walk and talk with me? Don't be surprised if someone talks to you from the spirit world and you doubt it is that person. You think it's your imagination. It's happened to me too many times. I've had too many conversations, and the energy around them is absolutely beautiful. And it's it's type of things you remember for the rest of your life when these beings. But you have to remember that they were once frequently incarnated on earth as well, just like you. And you may have had past lives with those people. You don't know it now in this life, so you're going about your day-to-day life. I'm just a wee woman, a wee Scottish woman, raising a family. I'm not anybody, and your initial reaction is to question that somebody important in the spirit world would trouble themselves to come and speak to you. I have been told in encounters with people in the past that I used to be an Essene, and the Essenes walked with Jesus, and I have walked with Jesus in some dark days I've had in this life, and Jesus is a beautiful energy, and he's had some kind words to say to me, and he's got me through some dark days. I don't say I'm a channel for Jesus, but I'm just saying Jesus can, don't be surprised if somebody like that might want to come and talk to you. You don't put yourself down. You matter as much to the spirit world as any billionaire or, high profile person that you see. That's not how it works for them. It's the ordinary people they often come to. I think of Neil Donald Walsh, his conversations with God. It's just ordinary people. They can be there in your life. Now, so when you're ready to go and have a more direct communication with the spirit world, it's very simple. You don't overcomplicate it. You just need to use your imagination and trust what you get. You have to create a space in your mind. It can be a comfortable room. It can be somewhere in nature. It can be a familiar place from your life or from childhood. Somewhere you from a book you've read or something. Some examples I've had talks with guides, just finding myself really around a fire, wigwams and all sorts, and just sitting around a fire and people turning up and talking with them, just like you would talk to anybody. I've beach. I go to a beach sometimes. I'm always standing by the waves. Somebody comes from behind me and they walk with me along the beach, and they will talk to me, either about my own situation or occasionally I do readings for people and they will come and talk to me. And the messages are always received by these people as being, I don't always know what's going on in their life at that time, but the messages are relevant and poignant, and frequently I reduce people to tears with the things I say that strike a chord with them. So trust it, okay? So you might go to a beach and you just be there, or you might go to a park. One of my common places I go is I sit under this big tree. I didn't create this in my mind, I just found myself there, and now it's one of the places I go to. I sit under the tree, and there's a big field, it's blue skies, nobody's about. Someone comes and sits next to me. I often get family members sitting next to me under the tree. They often bring sandwiches and things. It's quite funny, and they come, and the way it works is you don't instantly see the person. I don't know if spirit just feed it to you slowly, or it's such an effort for them to do it that they have to they give you bits. It's like chopped up parts. It's as if you're seeing little bits. So I frequently see the shoes or the hands of the person, or I have a feeling if it's a man or a woman. I get a feeling about how old they are. Then you might sort of see bits of clothing. Are they wearing a long skirt? Have they got bare feet? You don't instantly always, for me, see who it is that's there. It sometimes takes time. Sometimes they come in disguise. They wear a big cloak and you're kind of talking to them. Mentally, it's always mental communication. You're not using your mouth. And when they speak, it just drops into your mind. You just kind of hear it in the centre of your head. It's a very strange thing. It's hard to imagine. It's right in your head. You just hear a word. Or sometimes we have these little conversations that, they're just very poetic. They don't ramble on. It is quite succinct. And I have found that frequently when dealing with spirit, it can be a lot of pauses between what they're saying. So I'm constantly just working at breathing and asking them mentally, a question, or sort of trying to open up and see more with my mind's eye. So don't if it's really woolly and unclear to you, that would be normal for first ventures up there. Other times it can be really clear. I have a beautiful little house I go to where it's this really strange. My dad's always sitting on a bench outside the house in the garden. And in the garden, my mum's working away. The strange thing is my mum's still alive, but she's always up weeding the growing food in the garden for some reason up in heaven. And my dad's always there drinking a cup of tea like he did in life with his wee hat on he used to wear. And I go sit on the bench and I chat to my dad, and my mum will wave and things like that. And I go there from time to time. I have my under the tree thing, I have my beach thing, have a campfire, or sometimes I go to Healing Gardens where there's a beautiful fountain with this rainbow water, and there's also little pathways you can go where water shoots up and soaks you. And it's just a beautiful feeling. You hear birds, butterflies, nice things, and somebody shows up, a guide. They might show up in historical gear, so you might have a Roman or a Greek looking person or something like that. I frequently get guides in big cloaked hooded things show up. Now I'm just kind of saying this so that you start to see that everything is normal. There's no set pattern to this. If you're desperately trying for one single person, I can't guarantee that person will show up. You cannot choose who comes to meet you on the other side. All you can do is create a space, go to it and wait and just see who shows up. It may be a loved one, frequently can be, it will be at some point, but you can't guarantee it. Someone else may show up, and that's because either that's all you're ready to handle, or you need to hear some message that they're bringing, or it's some form of healing that you're going to get. It might even be a pet comes along. I frequently get little dogs running about. I don't normally have. I haven't had a lot of dogs in my life, but frequently see little dogs, little birds. So you just have to be open to what comes along. But I would say to you that if you set the scene, set the intention, ask your guides for help, get yourself as high a vibration as possible, say the words about those come for your highest good, and go to a place in your mind as best you can. It can be a place from your past so that it's easy for you to picture, and just wait there and give it a little bit of time. You don't need, not hours, just give it a little bit of time and see if someone from the spirit world will join you. And you might just get some very short communication from them, just a feeling of being loved, or they might give you a little crystal or feathers or sticks or silly things like this. You get things and you don't understand what they are, but they go into your DNA, they go into your aura, they have a function that we don't understand. So if they give you something, just take it, maybe put it into your heart, something like that, and then when you're ready, you can just come back. You just kind of, you're never gone really. You're always conscious and fully aware of what you're doing. You're just looking at a place in your mind's eye, and having little conversations up there. Now you just need to give it a go in order to see how you get along. You may have to build up, if you've never had absolutely any contact with the spirit world that you're aware of, you may have to start building up your focus, your vibration, and it will happen. It's not, there's a thinning of the veil going on at the minute. The energy of the planet is being raised up. So this might not have been possible 100 years ago, although the Victorians were very into communicating with spirit and all sorts of things. So it's open to us, and the only thing that's been blocking us is people thinking you have to go to some other person to communicate with your loved ones or to get advice about your life. Everybody can do it themselves. You don't need special training. You just need to practice a little tiny bit, take your time about it, and go with your strong intuition about what you think is the best way to go about for you if you feel you want to get some oracle cards or some angel cards, or you want to sit with a pen and paper, or you want to go to the place in your mind, a place in, you know, that comes to you, and think, I'm going to do that. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to clear my schedule. I'm going to do some breathing. I'm going to put my bubble up. I'm just going to go and sit, you know, on the dunes or wherever it is you're going to go, and just see if someone will come and join me. And when they do, it's the most beautiful thing. It's never, you know, you won't be anxious in any way. It's always beautiful, and they always bring wisdom to the situation, and love and support, and they never judge or anything like that. And to cultivate a habit, I'm sorry, I'm getting beautiful energies again, where you go regularly and place yourself up in the spiritual realms in some healing gardens or wherever, your energy is going to be raised each time you do that. And the energy you bring back from that place with the advice, and just going a step closer to communicating with your guides and your loved ones, it's going to empower you and alter you for the good, because you'll see that it's not just all about this world that we live in, where it's all dog eat dog and, you know, bills and problems. You know, it's not all about that. You can always take yourself off to the spirit planes and allow that energy to permeate you, and it will change you, and it will change your life for the better. So do give it a go. I would love to hear how you get on, and any experiences you've had with how loved ones come along into your life. I might make some videos about, you know, things people have told me in the past, or things that I have done on journeys that have, you know, really touched me, and I've felt very powerful, or little messages that have come through to me from spirit. Everybody can do it. I'm not a special person. I'm an ordinary person. So if I can do it, then you can certainly do it. So do give it a go. Let me know how you get on, and we can talk more about it next time. I think my next video I'm going to do is on energy healing, how you can give energy, how you can send energy, how you can give energy healing, how you can work on yourself, and charge up objects with, you know, healing energy, so that you can be sending them to people or leaving them places. Okay, so we'll talk about energy healing, which I think a lot of you want to learn. I hope this hasn't been too long. I tried my best to keep it as short as possible, but it's obviously a big subject. So good luck. Can't wait to hear how you get on. Okay, God bless. Take care. Speak soon.